cuties, I'm Lanika and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the Young and the Restless edition. Alright, so I'm a few episodes behind, but I'm going to catch up on these three. So this is for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Let's just jump right into this. This is Wednesday's episodes. And on a scale of 1 to 10 for all 3 days, I'll probably give them like a 7.5. They were solid. They were solid. Some of it was I was more interested in others, and as I go through, I'll tell you. But I'm gonna try not to hold you too long. Let's start with Chelsea and Adam. Listen, this storyline is very important. I just don't want to see it. And the reason I don't want to see it is because it's very emotional. It's a deep storyline that's happening and going on. And I feel like I can't review it the way I want to review it because of that. But so we see Chelsea and Adam, and she wants to tell Connor about what she's been through, about her, attempting to commit um unalive herself. Sorry, YouTube. And so he doesn't want this to happen, but she needs to do it. And so they have like a little tiff about it, and the doctor comes in, Dr. Malone, and Adam leaves and he tells her, I can come back later. And she said, no, Billy and Sharon will be there to get her. So then we see that Chelsea speaks to her therapist, and she tells her that Adam doesn't feel comfortable letting Connor know. And the therapist says, well, I think it's best. I don't care about what Adam feels. I want to know how you feel. And she says, are you ready to let him know? And she says, yes. And my only thing with that is, but is Connor ready to receive it? That's my only thing, because nobody is talking about, well, maybe we should get a therapist that's there and available for Connor. It's all about, let's make sure that Chelsea is good. And see, this is why I didn't want to really go into it, because I have a opinion. Listen, let's just make sure that Chelsea is good. Let's make sure, and if she's good and she's comfortable and she's ready, then we'll give it to Connor. And I feel like she's done that so much that I can understand why Adam is a little hesitant about telling Connor what she's been through. So then we see Billy and Sharon, and they're talking and everything about Chelsea's treatment. I said, well, did Chelsea give permission for this? Because it feels like a HIPAA violation that she feels very comfortable telling Billy everything that's going on with Chelsea, but yet she didn't tell Adam, or they didn't feel the need to bring Adam in on this. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel about it. I'm glad that Billy was there to help, but Adam had Connor, and as Adam was telling Chelsea, Connor has been so confused and feeling like that he's done something that's the reason why he can't see her and everything. So I feel as though they should have brought Adam in on this. So Adam comes and he wants to speak to Sharon in private, but she's like, but we're all talking about this together. And it's like, whatever, whatever. So he just says, he has concerns about telling Connor, and she says, well, what does Chelsea's therapist says? He said, I want your unbiased opinion. And she says, well, I feel like if Chelsea is ready, then we should tell Connor. And again, I feel like they make that about Chelsea and not about how that would affect Connor. So then we move on, because Adam tells Billy he wants to talk to him outside, and he says, so what is this with you? Like, what are you doing in all of this? What's your involvement? Like, how much of an involvement will you be? And he says, listen, how you parent your child and what decisions you make, that's between you and Chelsea. But he's like, I've been in a dark place, and I'm just here to help Chelsea be the support system that she needs. So whatever it is that she needs, that's all I want to do. And Adam feels like Billy is, there's something in it for him, because he's like, well, what about Lily? How is she feeling about all this? And Billy says, well, that's none of your business. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just annoyed with Billy lately, but it feels like he's all in Chelsea's, all finding out everything. And he gave his opinion on Connor on if they should say, well, I agree. I think that you should tell Connor. But then if Adam asks about, well, how is Lily taking all this? That's none of your business. And that's my issue with Billy. Plus, he's just so involved in it. And so then we go, and Billy and Sharon go and pick up Chelsea from the institute that she was in, the medical treatment facility that was she was in. And Sharon had already told Billy that she was going to offer Chelsea a place to stay because Mariah and Tessa are moving to the ranch. I mean, they're not, we're not seeing them anyways. So they're moving to the ranch, and so she's going to offer the apartment to Chelsea. But they tell Chelsea's like, I don't have anywhere to go. And they said, let's just sit down and talk about it, and then we'll move on from there. And she was like, okay. So then we see Chloe and Sally. And Chloe's like, girl, we want to do this fashion house and everything. We need money. We need investors. We can do it, but we need stuff. So then Nick comes up, and Chloe's pretty much like, we'll take your money. Like, no, she tells him at first, can you get us in with Marquetti? And he's like, Sally's like, Chloe. And she says, girl, we need a job. And Marquetti is a fashion house. Summer is his daughter. And so if we could get her in, we need to. And he lets her know that he doesn't have a relationship like that with Summer where he gets into like what they have a father and daughter relationship, but as far as business, he doesn't ask for favors, he doesn't reach out. And Sally was like, I'm so sorry. And so, but he did say, I'll offer you guys a loan so you can get your fashion house because I know it's going to be a powerhouse. And Chloe was like, yes. And Sally was like, no. And she said, girl, we need this money. And so Nick talks to Sally, and he said, it's just a loan. It's not for kisses. It's not for hugs. It's not for, anything else. It's just a loan. And she was like, no, I don't. And so then Chloe talks to Sally, and she said, girl, because Sally says, I don't want it to be weird with us. Like, now we're going to owe him money. And Sally was like, Chloe said, he's not the type of man that's going to be like, give me my money back because it doesn't work out with between you and Nick. And she was like, but I would rather us do it on our own. And I'm like, all right. So then Adam goes to the facility because he wants to talk to Chelsea, and she's not there, of course. And he was like, of course. And of course, Billy and Sharon picked her up, and she said it's good for her to have all the support she needs. And he says, yeah, but he still has concern about Connor. So he gives Chelsea a call, and he wants to tell her that he's changed his mind, but he's just thinking, right? So he's trying to give her a call, but then while he's in the park, I said, oh Lord, now Adam is having issues because he's thinking about how Chloe talked to him about everything you brought onto yourself, how he treated Chelsea, and she doesn't really trust him like that. Then he thinks about how he treated Sally, and so now I said, well, if it ain't one thing, it's two. So then Adam goes to the bar society to have a drink, and I guess to have a meal, and he sees Nick, and Nick is just like, he doesn't want to get into it with Adam, but Adam gonna meet Adam. So he was like, what are you doing here? And Nick was like, I'm meeting someone, because he told Adam told Nick, sit down and talk with me. And he was like, I'm actually meeting someone. And Sally comes in, so that's who he was meeting, y'all. And that was Wednesday's episode of Young and the Restless. So then we go to Thursday, and we pick up right where we left off. We have Nick, Adam, and Sally. And baby, Adam said, I'm not feeling good about my life right now, so I don't want you to feel good. So he told Sally, whatever you think he doing, like, he not gonna love you like I do. You know how I feel about you, because she said, Adam, whatever it is going on, I was hoping that we would get it to a place where we're friends. He said, we can't be friends because he's still in love with you, girl. How you gonna be friends with you and he in love with you and you sleeping with his brother? No, you're not gonna be friends. And then he told Sally, no matter what you got going on with Nick, you're just a substitute for right now until he gets right on back with Sharon. But he not getting back with Sharon, because Sharon about to get over here and get with Chance. I don't know how that's gonna work out, y'all. But that's what's gonna happen on that one. And they're like, oh, sinus, sorry. And so they're going back and forth. Adam is taking blows. They're trying not to say too much, but Nick do tell Adam, watch your mouth, watch how you talk to Sally. And he was just, Adam doesn't care at this point because his feelings are hurt. And she said, you know what, Nick, let's go, because he's not worth it. So they go and they sit down at their table, and then Adam ends up having to leave. So then we see Noah and Allie. So she saw him earlier, hugged up on Audrey, Audra, because Audra told him she had a miscarriage. Do y'all believe her? I don't know. Because she had a miscarriage. So Allie is like, what's going on? So he tells her, that all of this happened. and that he was just comforting her. He was like, I feel bad because he said, I did leave. And when the relationship deteriorated, I left and I didn't look back. I was out of there. And so she told him that she had the miscarriage the first night. And so he was telling Allie all of this. And Allie was like, oh my gosh, she had to go through that. And you have to go through this, like knowing what could have been. And yeah, he was like, yeah. And so then Allie comforts him by giving him a hug. And who pops up? Looking pretty as this girl is a gorgeous girl, Audra. And so she pops up looking as pretty as can be, and she just looking at them. I said, girl, you gonna just stand there? And so then Noah looks up and he sees her watching. But Allie never sees her, right? And then Audra leaves. And so then Noah and Allie hug again because they tore apart. They came apart, they, gave more words of comfort and everything. And then she hugs him again. And I said, the look on Noah's face, don't you do Allie wrong, because Allie has done nothing to you but you be supportive of you. So don't do her wrong, because Audra has come back into town. To break up your relationship, I might add. So then we see Billy, Chelsea, and Chloe. No, Billy, Chelsea, and Sharon, and she's telling them, they let her know that they have a place upstairs for her because Mariah and Tessa went to the ranch, and she's like, oh my gosh, thank y'all so much. So she's happy to have her own apartment and get out of staying at the hotel Grand Phoenix, because of course she can't go, she doesn't want to go back there. That was where she tried to unalive herself. So when that happens, they go upstairs and everything's all good, and Billy leaves, so that just leaves Sharon and Chelsea, and they talk about everything going on and how she wants to see Connor and how she can't believe this is her life, but she's happy to have a place again. And so then she talks to Adam, and she tells Adam, because she tells him where she's staying. He was like, oh, good, I'll bring you by some groceries. She said, I really want to speak to Connor. And he tells her he's still apprehensive about her speaking to him, but she talks him into it, and he says, okay, I'll bring him by. So then they continue to talk, and Chelsea's nervous, but she tells Sharon and Chelsea continue to talk, and she's nervous, but she tells her that she's looking forward to seeing Connor and telling him what happened so that he knows that it's not his fault. And so then we see that Connor and Adam arrive at Sharon's place. Now she is downstairs at Crimson Lights, and they talk and everything. And Connor goes to get him something to bring up to his mom. And Adam texts Chelsea and lets her know that we'll be up in a minute. And he talks to Sharon, and he's still apprehensive about this. And she tells him it'll be okay. Connor's strong. It's for the best. She thinks it's the right decision to make, and they should just follow Dr. Malone's lead. Is it Dr. Malone? Yeah, lead. Anyway, so they go up and they tell Connor everything that's happened. And Connor is devastated. He feels like it's his fault. He was like, and she says, no, it wasn't your fault. And he was like, what, did you ever like get so sick you try to unalive yourself? And so she lets him know that she did, and so that makes him feel even worse. And so then Adam is just looking like, oh, I shouldn't have did this. But they talk him through it. They talk Connor through it, and they let him know that everything happened with Chelsea. That was on, what she was going through. It had nothing to do with him. She loves him. They support him. If he wants to talk about anything, that's okay. They talk about the whole Johnny situation. They just talk about everything that's going on. And they tell him, he lets Chelsea know, I love you. You're not alone. And Dad, can I spend the night with Mom? And, he's like, yeah, you can spend the night. And so that's that with that. So then we see Lily and Billy. So Chelsea did give Billy permission to tell Lily everything that was going on with them. And so he does. He tells her that Chelsea tried to unalive herself, and she's like, oh my gosh. But Lily had a little bite to her. So they talk about it, and she was like, I didn't know she was struggling like that. And she was like, so for the last 72 hours, you've been really watching her. And I think Lily has empathy and sympathy for Chelsea, but she also doesn't like how involved Billy is. She doesn't like that part of it. So he was like, what is it? Because I can hear it in your voice that there's a little bite there. And she's like, wait, if this happened 72 hours ago, then that means you rescued Chelsea. And he's like, yeah, I stopped her from, jumping on the rooftop. And that's how it went off for them, guys. I don't know what's going to come of that, but I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. So this is Friday's episode of The Young and the Restless. So we start off with Nick and Sally at the restaurant. They're having dinner, and she tells him, she was like, listen, Nick, I don't want to take your money because I don't want another man to tell me that I got a job, I got a position, I got a company, I got anything because of him. So I'm not going to take your money. I'm thankful for it, but I don't want it that way. And he's like, you know what? I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying. And so I will be as supportive as I can. So she starts telling him about ideas that that she was having, where she wants to mix up fashion with interior design. And honestly, I might be mixing some episodes because I watched these three in a row. But she wants to mix up fashion with interior design and event planning. I said, so you want to be Noah? Because that's exactly what Noah was talking about doing, right? Am I wrong? I said everybody always has the same careers around this. So, but okay, let's keep moving. So then he drops her off at her place, right? And she tells him, come on in. And so he goes in and everything, and they start continuing to talk about her visions, her ideas. And because, she told him she didn't want to have a fashion house. She wants to do bigger than that. And so he supports her, and then they end up sleeping together. Sally and Nick, to me, have a lot of chemistry. So they end up sleeping together, and then he tells her, I'm about to hit the showers. I want you to join me. He was like, that's an invitation for you to join me. And she was about to join him, and then she had this idea, and she started writing it down. And so when he came out of the shower, he was like, I thought you were going to join me. And she says, no, I had this idea. And she showed it to him, and he was like, oh my gosh, this is really good. So I guess it's going to be all good for them. So then we continue to go to Chelsea, Adam, and Connor, and they continue to talk about everything that's going on with them. And Connor's going to spend the night. And yeah, I might have mixed up those episodes. Connor's going to spend the night, and just at the end of the day, they just want to reassure Connor that it's not your fault. And I feel like at the end of their conversation, that's exactly how he feels, because he's reassuring her that don't feel alone, don't feel like you have no one. You can come to me and talk, and I love you and I support you. And it was a really nice moment for them, y'all. And that was it with that. So then we got Ashley at the Abbott's place, and Abby comes over, and she was like, baby, I was coming to you. And Abby was just like, I just when I came over. And you could tell Abby is physically upset. And so Ashley's like, what's going on? And she tells her, she was like, Devon and I are not, I mean, Devon, yeah. She said, Chance and I are not going to work out. He says that he's not the man for me, and he doesn't know if he ever will be. And so he doesn't want to be in a marriage anymore. And she said, what? Where is this unprovoked ending of the marriage coming from? And she said, it was an unprovoked, mom. And Ashley's like, what's going on, Abby? And so then Abby finally admits that she slept with Devon. And she said, what? And she said, yes, I slept with him, and it was just a one-time thing. And she said, and so Ashley's like, well, if it's just a one-time thing, maybe he will be understanding and come back. And she says, I don't think that he will. And so, she doesn't think so. And Chance is not coming back to Abby. They were not the best couple to begin with, and so he's over it. He really is over it. No, 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 mama, don't do that. He really is over this relationship. Plus he about to move on with Sharon. So then that's almost the end with them. So then we see that Jack and Diane talk, and Diane comes running in to Jack because she tells him they're against me, and she has something to tell him. And he's like, what you got to tell me? And she says, they're Phyllis, Nikki, and Ashley are all teaming up against me, and then she finally against me, and they're gonna use Jeremy Starks against me. And then she also lets him know that she spoke to Tucker, and she drops a piece of information that Tucker wanted her to be pass on Jabot's financial information. Because at first, when she came in, she told Jack, why are you ignoring my calls and my texts? He said, because I'm working and I don't have time for it. It's always some hell dealing with you. And it was like it's always something going on and waiting on the other shoe to drop. And so when she told him about them both financial information, he says, there's another shoe. He was like, Diane, it's always something. And she says, I know, but I swear to you, I wasn't going to give it to him. I was actually going to try to trap Tucker. Girl, please. I don't believe Diane. And I know y'all like Diane, and y'all be all in my comments trying to be like, Diane has done nothing wrong. And Jack and Phyllis, Nikki, and Ashley are wrong for this. No, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do, which is protect their family. because Diane has been lying since she came into town and she has not stopped lying yet. This whole running to Jack and Kyle is just her trying to get some type of protection for herself. And so she's running to them, telling them bits of information just to keep it covered up about what she's really been into. Because I don't believe for a second, because Jack asked her, did you turn on Jeremy Starks? And she said, yes, for immunity. Uh-huh. But I don't believe for a second that she was just so naive and didn't know what Jeremy was doing with her. Please spare me those details, because she was 100% in on it, I believe, and she knew exactly what was going on. She turned on Jeremy because she didn't want to go to prison, and then that's why Tucker was able to blackmail her with all of this. You want to be on Mike? So that's why Tucker was able to blackmail her with all of this. So she's telling him all this, and she said she didn't tell Kyle about Tucker because she doesn't want Kyle to go, running into it with Tucker because he's trying to blackmail her, but with the Jeremy. And she said she doesn't want him to get into that because it's dangerous. And Jack said, you're right. And he was like, I'll deal with Ashley because I told her to back off. She said, well, she's not listening. And I said, first of all, Jack, whose daddy are you? Whose daddy are you? So then he goes back to the house because that's it with Diane. He goes to the house and he says, Ashley, I need to talk. Well, Ashley is clearly talking to Abby, but Abby said, it's fine, Mom. I need to go and check on Dominic and everything else. And she was like, okay. So then Ashley is like, so what defense do you want to come to for Diane now? And he was like, what? And she said, it's always something. You always defending Diane when you come in hell bent. It's all because of that. And he said, I thought I asked you to leave Diane alone. And she was like, you could request what you want to request. That doesn't mean I have to follow you. Because whose daddy are you, Jack? This is a grown woman. You cannot tell her to leave Diane alone and that she's going to do it because you said so. So then Jack took great pleasure. I don't care what anybody says. He took great pleasure in telling her, you think you got Tucker wrapped around your finger, but did you know that he was using Diane to try to get financial information about your beau? So he's just really has you doing his dirty work. I said, Jack, no, he want to take that company from y'all and give it to Ashley. Now he want to still run it, but he wants to give it to Ashley. And so Ashley is just like she go over there and get a sip of water, but she just keeps telling Jack every time, you always find a way to defend Diane. Everything, she's always the victim. She's always so innocent. And he was like, is that how you see it? And she was like, that's not how I see it. That's how it is. And so, I mean, they agree to disagree on that, but she is probably going to get to the bottom of Tucker and this whole financial thing. And I said, well, if Tucker plan works out, if he divides the family like he plans on doing, because that's what he said he was going to do, then this is going to work out exactly how he planned it. So then we see Phyllis, and she is eating at Society when no, when Tucker comes in, and he said, I just came to grab some of my food, my to go, because everybody gets to go from Society. And she said, no, sit down, have a drink. And so she says, what are you doing in town? She was like, thank you for giving that information about Diane. And he was like, yeah, I hope it was useful. She said it was, and we're gonna use it. She said, but you tell, what are you really doing here, to Tucker? Because I know that's not it. And he said, no, I'm a changed man. And I saw how Diane was able to get in with the Abbotts, and I said, well, maybe I'll have a chance. And Phyllis said, mm-hmm. I said, because don't nobody believe that, Tucker. So they have having a back and forth where Phyllis trying to get more information out of him about why he's really there. And baby, Diane comes in and she tells them that she got the Abbotts on her side. And so if they want to mess with her, they're going to have to go through the Abbotts. And she is declaring war on them. And Tucker and Phyllis just looking. I don't even think they said a word. They just looking at her. And I said, see, that's what she wanted. She wanted to be able to say, I'm an Abbott. I have the Abbotts to defend me. Girl, you gonna need him when Jeremy gets out of this prison, and he's coming for you. But y'all, that was the Young and the Restless today. It is the weekend, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you go outside, please be safe, be blessed. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.